Hello guys, still day 5 of the majors, and as we've heard in the past couple of interviews, we have talked a lot about this crazy series that we have got to witness today, and now I finally got my hands on one of the people involved in the actual gameplay. MiSeRy, first of all, congratulations, of course, for making it. I think beyond a doubt everybody here thinks you deserve it a lot, and I don't want to bore you with these entry questions. Let's talk about the games right away, since you've been in there as well. Let's begin with game 1. The Rapier got bought, a lot of risk on Envy's shoulders. Was it something where he's like, "Oh, guys, I think I'm going to go Rapier"? Was it an understanding of all the players in the game? Can you talk us through the moments of the game up to that point?
Um, so I felt like that game was kind of in our hands after a fight top lane where we killed multiple people and went for tier 3 and then we went back and then we were like, let's go Roshan. And then we went to Rosh and then we kind of, 4 people died I think and we lost Aegis as well or something like that. And from there on out it was like we were started to talk about Rapier. I don't remember exactly how what time, but like we like he just mentioned, I'm gonna go Rapier, guys. What do you think? And we were all like, yeah, I think it's good. And actually, it's pretty risky on Ember, but actually, he's one of the only heroes that can get away with it, I think, because people die so fast, and he is really hard to catch if you have 4 staffs and stuff. So, like, they commit to killing an Ember somewhere, and you force him out, and he gets one slide off, and they might just all die. So it's kind of really good on Ember, even early in the game.
Now, I also talked to Zai, and one of the things he definitely pointed out was that, for example, playing Magnus, it's an unthankful hero because nobody sees spells that you hit and they work out. So he definitely commended you on your gameplay and said it was outstanding all the time. And, he already called out that people will be talking about this or that spell that didn't go quite well. But talk about the role of the heroes that you've played so far. To my mind, Spring, Tusk, and Magnus in this case. When you play these heroes, is there anyone that you kind of prefer when it comes to your role and your responsibility in the team?
Like hero-wise, I don't know. I kind of just play what is needed, and I feel like I can play anything. So for that reason, it's very easy to talk about strategies and talk about counters to stuff, because we kind of just pick me whatever needed in the game. And I played a lot of Magnus for the team in this event, and I still like playing it, but I agree with Sai in that sense. It's a pretty hard role. It's pretty, like, I am actually just empowering people, and getting RPs off is so insanely difficult because, like, the enemy was, especially that game, because they had a Night Stalker too. No, they had a Beastmaster, Hawk scouting me, and it's like they have a Storm Spirit. I try to RP the Storm, which is like, it's just a lost cause. I should not go for that at all. But yeah, I mean, I think if I played better Magnus that game, we would have maybe won. But it was generally, after buying the Rapier, I felt like we could have definitely done the same thing again as in game 1, but we fucked up top lane and died instead of going back and waiting for items. I had like 5,000 gold. I was going Lincolns to just Lincoln the Ember and then just go, like, I'm just the guy empowering and Lincolning this Ember. But for some reason we stayed a bit too long, and then, yeah, we lost Rapier, and that's it. But I mean, I like.
Sorry, can I just that top lane thing, because that's of course the part where many of us laymen we look at that and we say, holy shit, it looking so good, and then they get caught out once and the game is over, and that's in part also because of the Rapier. Do you think the item progression that could have been different? That was something that Zai said, perhaps Amy could have chosen a different build-up, maybe go with the Daedalus first, and then after a while, like in game 1, go for the Rapier.
Maybe. I think it wasn't really on the Ember. I think the Rapier was actually solid. I think the biggest problem was that we didn't identify the fact that they had BKBs, and then Tusk couldn't really, like, the idea is the Storm jumps in with Orchid, he Orchids the Ember, and then Tusk can snowball him away, right? And he can always get out with a Remnant, and then everyone just fucks off as much as we can, or we try and take a fight, or depending. But they both had BKBs on Storm and a Juggernaut, so they kind of just both went in, and he didn't have a snowball target. So he got Orchid, and then he just dies. Okay. So that was kind of the issue in that fight. But there was really no point staying there longer. I felt like we just go back and we farm some more items and we just play our 5-man Dota with Rapier again. And I think we can, with patience, we can just take the game like that. So that was the main issue. We just got a bit too excited maybe and thought we were fine in that scenario. But I don't know. I don't think Storm had shown his BKB before that fight.
So is this something where you would think that it's common understanding in your team right now, that maybe you should have backed out and taken it easy and wait a bit? Or is this something where you will maybe wait until the end of the day to kind of discuss it in a quiet and calm environment?
I think we would definitely, we all understand that we had to back there because there was no point for us to stay there. We needed, we could just go back. I found my Lincolns, 200 more gold. Someone else has one more item. Ember farms a BKB, and then suddenly they actually can't kill this Ember anymore because he will always just get, he has Lincolns on. If they try to initiate on him, he will always pop his BKB, and then they have actually nothing to disable him with. So in that sense, I mean, the whole team is on the same page for sure about this stuff.
I mean, it's ridiculous to just witness these games because it's so many high caliber players, so many people that just understand the game so well. I think it was Zaya that mentioned that in the draft, PPD, and in the game, he is one of the people that understands very well how to play with vision and information in the game, whereas you guys also, of course, are, I mean, we saw from the way the team fights went that everybody is extremely good, but that you guys also have these, you know, the Brute or the Huskar that comes out. So assuming that EG will adjust to that, and if you meet them in the grand finals, that this still will not work, what area of game will be the most important for you guys? Is it going to be the team fights, the early game? Where would you put the most emphasis in making sure you can take EG?
Well, I mean, we kind of saw what their strategy was against us just now, and it was very obvious that they chose Night Stalker like very highly because of the vision. The second game, they also Night Stalker was out, so they chose Beastmaster. So I mean, it's kind of obvious for us as well that they want to play the vision game, and it was very annoying to play those games because it is very hard to play against this type of strategy when you don't have, like, yeah, we had a Sigil, and in the first game we had a Bounty Hunter that helped, but Night Stalker, playing as Night Stalker is like, it's actually a stupid concept, the fact that he removes vision. Other heroes in the game like gives you vision, and you can both have heroes that give vision, but this hero, like, he clicks aura or darkness or whatever, and you can't see anything. You actually have to stay in base, and you can't even stay on high ground with a ward, you know, like you normally do against other heroes, but because he just has Aghanims. He sees you before you see him, and he has a gem, and he removes your vision. It's very difficult to play against Night Stalker, and yeah, I mean, for the future, I think we just have to, play around that, I think.
Is it gonna, where would you feel, where did you feel the most kind of distress, if we can call it that, in the game? So would it be like the early laning stage where you would think, here's a lot of things happening where if I don't play this right, you know, this is going to mess up the game? Is it the team fights where you think, this will always decide it? When you play against EG, is there like a recurring theme inside of the games?
I think it depends on the game. Like the first game we were really calm for a long period of time, and we still were until a certain point where we went for Roshan, and it was kind of a moment where if everyone starts hitting Roshan immediately and everyone's there, we kill this Roshan and they can't make it, but we kind of weren't there, all of us, so the Roshan is like barely died when they all came in, and then we got 4-man wiped. So it's these little small things, because we know that they can't get there in time because we see a guy top or something like that, and then if everyone starts hitting, they won't make it there, but since we're not fast enough, they just went there. And this kind of makes the game really difficult. And then the third game, it's like, they have this Tombstone and Undying and stuff, and we have a Huskar, and it's kind of like we had to, like, together, either we can kill the Tombstone, which we never could, because like Fear was, I don't know, he plays the Tomb amazing he played like a perfect Undying that game, so we could never kill the Tomb actually. So every time he plays Tomb in the end, we kind of just had to back off immediately, at least when we were going for high ground pushes. And then we realized that at one point Huskar was kind of unkillable. They could use full Omnislash, full everything, slides and whatnot, and he would just stand there with half HP and not give a fuck. And we would never commit, and beforehand in the game we kind of committed a little bit with me snowballing in to try and kill Undying or something, or Avenge or something, and then suddenly I would die first, and then they would pick us off. But we kind of identified that we had to just let Huskar do his thing. He would never die, and then the game was actually much easier from there on out.
So, did I understand it correctly that you feel that one of the things that you guys could improve a bit on is kind of You said that if you have an understanding, if we need to take Roshan and we need to do it now, what is it? Is it confidence to just know what you need to do and doing it?
No, I think it's just maybe if Poppy makes a call and it is to go Roshan and we have 20 seconds to do it, and then Ember Spirit has TP on cooldown or something like that, and that is not being said, and we start hitting this Roshan, it's too difficult in the moment to realize that you cannot kill this Roshan without everyone hitting it. So obviously the safe play is just to not kill Roshan at all. You just kill some ancients, and then they will start running anyway because they understand that, yeah, this is happening, or it could be happening. But you can kill this Roshan, but everyone has to be there and be ready. But that's not always possible. Maybe we has healing or something like that, or I don't remember what happened in that moment. I don't think Ember was hitting. Maybe he had cooldown boosted travel for like a few seconds or something, and that can like make or break the game, and it's probably hard to communicate in the game.
So you've been around for an extremely long time, and you've played on many teams, and you know pretty much every name there is to know, and every name knows you. How is your experience on this Team Secret so far? You are extremely successful right now. Can you talk a bit about how you're feeling in terms of your own very personal development as a pro player?
Well, I think it was definitely needed for me, and it was good for me too to play offlane, to start playing a core role again. I think I have more to do in the game and more calls to make, and I feel more confident in making calls in the game or understanding what I need to do. Not that I didn't on support, but I just feel like I have more impact in the game. And then of course playing with the team in general, synergy is very amazing, but also just having captain like Poppy helps as well. So yeah.
All right. I mean, you guys have a relatively comfortable position. You're sitting here waiting for the other guys to battle it out, and EG is waiting to see if they're going to play against eHome or OG. It is 1-1 right now between eHome and OG. I did not get the chance to watch them, but could you give me your impression on the game or the games that you've watched of OG eHome?
Well, OG seems to just pick the same strategy every game, and team seems to let them have it every game as well. And the first game, it didn't really work out for them. I think, yeah, maybe their draft was a little bit different. They had both Night Stalker, Ember, and Wisp Tiny, which was maybe like overdoing it a little bit. And then the second game, they got the strategy they used probably the most throughout their time as a team, Wisp Tiny with Alchemists, giving him Aghanims, and then just Tiny gets too fat too fast. And I hope eHome eHome should ban Wisp, because I don't really see like a reason not to at this point. It feels like this is their best strategy, and now they lost the game and won a game. Maybe it's time to mix it up and ban it. So
now there's a lot of discussion happening at this point in time on forums, both on the west and the east, about the Chinese scene falling off right now. What can you say about that in regard, because you've played a lot of those teams right now? Do you notice a difference now, apart from EG? If you take like some Western, Eastern teams, do you notice anything in play style? Is there anything you notice? Is there a difference?
Nah, I think maybe just the Western teams got stronger, and the Chinese kind of just stopped improving. Stagnated for a while, and I think after this major there's going to be some kind of shuffle for sure. But I think the Chinese will still remain strong. Like, it's just about maybe the metagame right now, and it switched kind of fast, maybe in a way that the Chinese had a hard time adapting to. Some new heroes that was almost never played in Dota forever. Tiny is like being picked every game almost, and some heroes they're not familiar with, like Meepo and Huskar and stuff, kind of just like beat them, and I think they're very confused right now onto what heroes to pick. And I think the reason why eHome are doing the best is probably because they're also they're not that Chinese. They're kind of picking their own shit, like Pogna, and like they have some different kind of style going on, their own picks. So
in an interview with Envy, he mentioned that comparing EG to CDEC, that CDEC is extremely strong right now, maybe the best within the first 10 minutes of the game. This was on day 2 or 3. And EG is also very strong, but they have more potential to keep improving. Now, to focus this question on CDEC, they put a lot of emphasis within the first 10 minutes of the game. Is your understanding and philosophy of the game similar to that of CDEC, to pressure early, or how would maybe you could describe Team Secret's current philosophy?
I don't know. I think we have a lot of philosophies. I don't think we're limited. I think we can play a lot of different ways. I think, for example, CDEC to me is kind of limited. It's very predictable what they want to do, and they have kind of a small hero pool. Like they picked Nakes the other day because they was like, what do we pick, guys? We don't know what's happening, and they pick a Nakes, and this hero is just probably contenders being the worst hero in Dota. So it's like, for our sake, it's like I feel like we can play a lot of heroes and a lot of different styles, and yeah, I mean, we have shown that, I feel so.
All right. So if I understood you correctly, it's not about having the style for the meta, but being able to react and adapt. All right. Do you feel it's going to be? It's reasonable to assume that you will be meeting EG again in the grand finals?
I think so. I think EG were by far the strongest team we've met since forever, basically. So I don't see any of those two teams beating EG. But you never know. Still.
Was the best of three tiring, stressful, rejuvenating, and like pumping? How did you experience it?
I thought it was very fun to play. I think everyone did. It was a very nice series. Yeah, some good Dota.
Awesome. All right, that's it for questions. I do want to give you the opportunity to not, like, I don't want to say shoutouts, but is there like some certain friends at home or like some family members that you hold dear, where you want to just be like, hey, I don't know, someone where you want to say, hey, how's it going? Thinking of you?
Well, I just talked to my dad. He might come from Denmark to watch the final tomorrow, but yeah, no, I mean, shout out to everyone at home watching and following what's going on here. It's nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time, and congratulations for making it to the grand finals. And thank you guys very much for watching, and stay tuned for more. Thanks.